Travel influencers are keeping things from you. They're really good at selling you with amazing videos about these fantastic destinations that totally inspire you to take that trip. But there are lots of things that those influencers aren't showing you that can help you bring those expectations back down to earth and even make you reconsider how you want to travel and where you want to travel to. Hi, I'm Annie. I'm a frequent traveler and I run the account Average Girl Does Cool Things. And in this video, I'm letting you in on 10 things that travel influencers aren't telling you. From the actual price paid to the boring things that they experience which don't make the final video cut. So let's get into it. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more travel inspo and how-to content. The first thing you have to know is that many of these trips are sponsored, subsidized, or given special access. Influencers, content creators, they are supposed to disclose any sort of paid or gifted partnership. So that means if a hotel gives them a free night stay, they are supposed to say that this was sponsored. They are supposed to legally disclose the relationship. This is an FCC rule, like this is a law. But a lot of them don't do it, which can make you feel like this expensive experience should be totally within reach. But you just don't know to what extent the creator is given the stuff. And it could be anything from cash to help with their flights, to hotel stays, free dinners, or fancy excursions. Even PR trips are supposed to be disclosed. A PR trip is when a brand puts together a trip and takes people on it to do content creation. They are supposed to claim that as well, but oftentimes they don't. And many times these trips contain experiences that aren't necessarily open to the public, or at least aren't accessible to the public without a whole lot of cash. So no surprise there, the big travel influencers are getting comped experiences. I'm not there yet, but I would like to be. I can be bought. Thing they don't tell you, number 2, places may not appear as they seem. Look, y'all, you can frame a great shot, but if you pull out just a little bit, you're gonna see a tremendous amount of people, trash, dirt, there's gonna be noise, there's gonna be smells. So much of this travel content now is highly produced. That means it's framed really well and it's edited really well. Take, for example, these videos that I took when I went hiking in Indonesia. This is a very famous beach area that you'll see in a lot of posters of the Komodo area. But then if you see this video where I pan up, you can see me and all my influencer friends who have also climbed this mountain to get their perfect hiking shot. So this video, it looks like it's completely destitute. It's your own fabulous little private island. And then you look at that and you're like, it's a lot of people for a remote island. So if you want to get the shot, expect to either have to wait quite some time for the crowds to clear, or get up really early or go late when there's no one out there. Thing they don't tell you, number 3, they have help. Now, as somebody who scripts and films and edits all of her own content, this is where I get so frustrated. And that frustration is because I'm jealous. I want some help. I want some editing help. What you don't know is that on many of these trips, they have professional photographers with them. Some even have makeup or wardrobe. They get their hair done. Like, they go as a content shoot. It's not necessarily to experience the destination. In fact, these photos you see and these photos of mine, all taken by professional photographers on my World Playground trips. It's actually part of the draw of going on a World Playground trip is that you're going to get spectacular images from these destinations. And in fact, this is actually becoming a thing that people are doing now. They're going to destinations and they're hiring local photographers to do a photo shoot out at famous landmarks. It's not a bad idea if you're looking for like really good photos, but please don't equate getting great photos with having an authentic travel experience. It's not necessarily the same thing. Thing number 4, the places with the best photos are not necessarily the best experiences. For this one, I want to highlight the famous Pink Beach. This is the famous Pink Beach in Indonesia. You see it in all sorts of travel influencer shots all over the place. Everybody wants to go to the Pink Beach. Let me tell you a secret about the Pink Beach. It's kind of a shithole. In fact, the guys who are running our boat who were taking us around Komodo didn't even want to take us to the Pink Beach. They're like, there's nothing to see there. And they're right, there's a couple of like shacks and it's not like you're going to some fancy beach to hang out. Like people literally just go there to see the pink sand, which is sort of pink, and to take photos. So you see photos like this of the pink beach, and you think, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous, it's amazing, holy cow. But this is what it looks like in person. So these two experiences, not exactly the same. Again, if you want a great photo, it's a good spot to go to. But if you want to hang out and like go see a cool beach, meh, skip it. Another great example of this is the rice paddies in Bali. There are a ton of like Instagram rice paddy places that have popped up now in Bali, where you go and they like can rent you a dress. You got to pay for it. They rent you a dress, and then you pay to go on the swing and get your photo taken. And so you see all these amazing photos of women taking like in their big dresses in Bali, but you pay a lot of money for that. And if you're not going to get your photo taken, you just kind of stand there like, there's nothing for me to actually do here. It's not like an authentic rice paddy experience. It's literally just like done for photo shoots. So like I said, the places with the best photos, not necessarily the best experiences. Thing they don't tell you, number 5, creating content is a job. This is something that I've really learned in starting this channel. You can't just capture your travels and then stitch it together into a story and a reel. You gotta work the other way around. You have to plan it out ahead of time and then go film for your story. It is a job. You have to think it through in order to make an entertaining, engaging, captivating video. The best example of this that I've seen, there was a TikToker who showed the behind the scenes of her Coachella schedule. So she had all of these sponsors that she had deliverables for at Coachella, and she has this huge list of all the shots that she'd have to get throughout the day, all the wardrobe changes she'd have to get, like which products she needed to make sure she was highlighting. And when you've got all of this going on, that's not necessarily like time to go enjoy the music. So it's an interesting balance there, right? Yeah, you're getting a free trip to Coachella, but it is a job. So I'm actually an event planner by trade, and I always think about this when people say to me like, oh, that's so cool, you get to go to parties for a living. No, I don't go to parties for a living. I get there early, I set up the party, I'm directing the catering, I'm making sure that other people are having fun, I'm picking up trash, and then I'm staying after everybody else leaves to make sure that the place gets cleaned up. That's event planning. That's not going to a party. Same thing with travel content creation. Yeah, you get to go to these amazing places, but you're working the whole time. Thing they don't tell you, number 6, it's not exactly feasible to quit your job and travel full-time. Stringing together a full-time salary out of travel content creation is really, really difficult. Not just because you're out there hunting for everything that you're gonna bring home, but also the tax situation. If you are moving around different places, living in different places, like you owe taxes to different places, it becomes a total mess. So for many people, like myself, having a corporate job really provides the security that allows you to then go do your travel content job. Notice that many of the travel content creators who are telling you that you can go be a full-time travel content creator are selling you a course on how to do that. That's where most of their money is coming, from teaching you to do that thing that they say that they do, not necessarily from that thing that they say they're doing. It's a really important distinction that I want you to look out for, because you have a lot of people who are selling a dream that just doesn't necessarily make sense for everyone. Thing number 7 that they don't tell you, using points doesn't make it free. Oh, this is one of my favorites to talk about. I can't tell you the number of reels that I get fed on my Instagram where people are like, this business class flight was free because I paid 800,000 points for it. I'm exaggerating. It's not usually 800,000 points. It's usually like 180,000 points, whatever. But here's what I would like to ask you, travel content creators who are saying this flight was free because you paid 180,000 points. Where did the points come from? They weren't free, were they? Look, I love points. I love travel rewards cards. I love getting point bonuses. I love seeing my Marriott Bonvoy points tick up. Points are a great perk, but you gotta remember that you are spending money to get those points. That means points are not free. And I know some are going to come back at me and say, well, what about the bonuses? Like, that's where you get the big majority of points. Yeah, you do. After you spend money, you have to meet a qualifying payment threshold in order to get those points. Right now, Chase Sapphire Preferred, right? That's their big card. They're offering a $100,000 point bonus, which is huge if you spend $5,000 in the first 3 months of having that card. It's not exactly free. And you gotta pay 790 something bucks in order to even get the card. So now we're talking $5,795 in order to get 100,000 points. It might be a nice perk, it might be a nice way to capitalize on the dollars that you're already spending, but please don't let them tell you that it's free. Thing number 8 they don't tell you is that things are not always happy and exciting. There are 2 things here that I think a lot of travel influencers leave out. One is that travel delays and mishaps are part of traveling. They're part of life. I have noticed a real trend lately on Threads, Instagram's Threads, where people are complaining about flight delays. And they're like, this is the worst airline ever. My flight was delayed 90 minutes. I'm like, that's just traveling? But dealing with a flight delay is not entertaining. So your influencers are gonna just cut that out of the video because quite frankly, no one cares. So you're not gonna see those sort of normal hiccups that we all experience when we're traveling. Just is part of life. The other thing they often don't tell you is that the locals are not always happy to see you. This is something that's getting picked up in a lot of European towns right now. You have protesters who are protesting the outrageous number of tourists who are coming to their city. Kind of don't blame them, because tourists, when they go to different cities, are not always the most respectful of local customs, cultures, and the local people who live there. My favorite right now is Barcelona, and they're like hitting people with water guns. It's clever. Locals are also really upset that the price of housing has gone up in correlation with short-term rentals. So while we can take all the beautiful pictures in the world, we also have to consider what's the impact that we're having on these destinations that we're pushing people towards. Thing number 9 that travel influencers don't tell you, they're not always flying business class. Look, I love a good business class seat, but they are expensive. I'm looking at going to Ireland right now and it was like $8,000 for round trip business class. I'm not gonna pay that. I don't make that much money. But if you were to see the casual travel influencer, you'd think like, oh, they're getting this amazing business class experience. They're highlighting the food. They're taking like fun selfies and getting ready to go to sleep in their lie down flat pod. But here's what I want you to pay attention to. Have you ever noticed how many of them use the same footage on multiple videos? And I don't blame them, because a business class flight is really freaking expensive. So it's a great opportunity. If you're gonna do it once, you pay for it, you get great footage, and then you reuse it. Of course you reuse it. I reuse footage all the time. But it can make it seem like they're always flying in business class. And that's just not the reality. They're actually just capitalizing on a trip that they got to take at one point. So don't worry if it feels like you can never fly business class, because trust me, they're probably not flying business class all the time either. And the last thing that travel influencers don't tell you is that they play up the experience. Look, they have to get hyped up because these videos are trying to sell you something. And if somebody's coming to a video without energy and enthusiasm and charisma, you're not gonna watch the video. You're gonna be bored to tears. I'll give you an example of something that I do. So in the videos that I've been in for the World Playground Travel Company, I often end up getting chosen to go do the room tours or something like that because I have theater experience. I have video experience. Hi, I run this channel. So when they film me walking into a hotel room, for example, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Look at this, come with me, da 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 da. If I was just going into a hotel room, do you think I'd do that? Nah. I might be excited. I mean, certainly the Maldives, when we went to Maldives, I walked in, I was like, oh, that was very cool. And I might be like, it could be an incredible experience, but those emotions that are happening inside of me have to be emoted out loudly for a camera. That's the only way they read. If I just sit here and talk to you in the camera like I normally would, you'd probably be really bored. But if I bring energy and charisma and I'm excited about something, then you're gonna stay tuned. Please don't forget that whenever you see travel content, it is a production. All this to say, I still really love amazing videos of really beautiful places, and I think travel content creators do a fantastic job of making things engaging and enticing. But I think you should also not go into that same experience thinking that you're going to have whatever experience you're seeing on camera. I think that's the critical piece here. Recognize that that video content is advertising. And advertising doesn't always correlate perfectly to your experience. That's why it's so important to do your research on a destination from multiple sources and then keep your expectations open. Who knows, you might end up having an even better experience than you thought you would. If you like this video, then you might enjoy this one next. Go watch it. Until next time, go create a life you love. Bye.